Welcome to the Light and Dark podcast. I'm your host, Sam Renfro. In this podcast, we'll explore what it means to be fully human, embracing all aspects of the human experience, the light and the dark. We'll discuss all things health and wellness, spirituality, and everything in between. And I'll share all of the impactful tools and lessons that I've learned on this planet so far. The light is within you. Can you feel it? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Light and Dark podcast. Today I am going to share some personal reflections and for the theme that has been coming to me early on in this new year of 2026. And I know I've been talking about this year a lot, and it's because I feel like a lot of momentum has started to build, and it's like been building for a long time, but it's been in the form of pressure. And so it might not, at least, again, in my own life, it might not have seemed like there was momentum building. But all the pressure that was put on me in the months leading up to the new year have now propelled me to understand my power and my gifts and my true worth a little bit more, a little bit deeper. So I guess we're just jumping right into it. But essentially, I wanted to talk about courage, and specifically the courage to emerge. And this has been a long time coming. And I'm actually not even sure where this conversation is going to go, or where this train of thought is going to go, but it's been something that has really, really been circling my consciousness as like a, wow, this is something that you have been wanting to do for so long, and now finally it feels like you are safe and there is a drive to do so. So I will mention, all the various ways in which we tell ourselves why that's not okay. And I will say that as I share my personal journey, the exact scenario and circumstances may be different for you. I'm speaking directly to myself when I say that I have been wanting to do something for so long that creates impact, that allows me to be seen, that puts me out in the world more than just in my immediate circle, which is great. But we all come up with so many excuses. And for me, it's like, oh, well, there's so many other people that are doing it. Or, like, what are they going to think when you put yourself out there? Or, no, I don't want to like come off that way. I don't want to sell anything to anyone. I don't want to be that guy. And then it's like the story perpetuates, and then you eventually wake up and you're like, oh my God, I'm not that guy, I'm not that guy, I'm not that guy, but what guy am I? Like, and it's like a slippery slope, because you start listening to that voice in your head that really holds you back from actually taking action. And it's like, instead of just putting one foot in front of the other, seeing where it leads, you end up putting yourself 15 steps ahead and then talking yourself out of it completely. And so truly what I'm noticing is all of the little steps count. All of the energy and the focus that you put forward is going to move in that direction. And all the traditions, all the spiritual teachings, everything has always told us where your energy flows, your energy go. No, wait, what's the saying? where your energy goes. Wow, I can't remember what the saying is now. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. There it is. Thanks for bearing with me on that one. Um, so it's like there's this discipline component, there's this dedication, there's this truly knowing yourself and knowing what you actually want to do and what you actually want to put out there. And it's also just like, it could just be like you being an artist in a way that you do music, you paint. It could be the fact that you're like a really good uh, accountant, and that's a very poor example because if you're an accountant, you probably went to school for that and you're probably doing that as a profession, and that's great for you. Um, it's like that thing that has been burning inside you to share with the world, and you just haven't quite done it because you got lost in the comfortability of like the thing that you worked hard to get to. And it's like sometimes we get to that place, we take all this time and energy to go down this path of maybe, let's just say, a career, or it could be a relationship. And then we get so far down it and we're like, oh well, this is fine. This is just how life is. And we become complacent when really that little inside voice, the other voice, not the opponent, the other voice that says, but what if you just did this? We just keep stuffing it down. And it's time. It's time to become who we are. And so whether you want to bake cookies and, share that with the world, or sourdough, I know everyone's on a sourdough kick, myself included, by the way. Um, it's like whatever you do best. Maybe you're a great dancer. Maybe you are like really good at washing cars. There was a guy at the farmer's market, he's been like running this chicken stand. This is like a hilarious example, but there's like a company that travels all over the area, and they have this rotisserie chicken truck. And I don't eat meat, and he's always offering me some, and I just like say no, and he's baffled by it. But the point is, I heard that he was starting his own car detailing business, and it's something that he's been wanting to do for a long, long time. And finally, he just decided, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to create, he started creating a little bit of a business plan and like starting out word of mouth and just start doing it. But any little thing that you can do that says, okay, I am now open to receive. And there's like this give and take pull where you have to create the thing. You have to create whatever it is that's burning inside you to come out. And you don't have to know exactly how it's going to look, and you don't have to have it all figured out right now. But if you put the step forward out there, then that creates that right foot. And then you can understand, okay, this is where the left foot needs to go, and then the right foot, and then the left foot. And you bring in the creator, the universe, or whatever, this universal force that's helping us and guiding us forward. You bring that into your creation, and you trust, and you say, okay, I'm doing it. I'm ready. And I feel like a lot of you guys, if you're listening to this podcast, maybe you're in a similar boat where you've kind of been in hiding for a long, long time because of you've been unsure of what you wanted to do, or maybe you've just been like kind of riding it out, trying to figure out yourself. And maybe you've been like me, where you're trying to figure out all of the things in which you are not, so that you can finally understand the person that you are. But either way, I feel like knowing what you want, knowing where you want to go, and then having the courage to face the fear and do it, like those three things, that's at least where I'm at. And it's like so many stories I told myself about not being good enough, not being knowledgeable enough, not having the experience, not again, I go back to the judgment. The judgment has always been a huge piece for me of like, what are they going to think? And it's like this huge identity piece that's always come through, is like my entire identity is going to revolve around the thing that I do. And we're multifaceted beings. We can do and be whoever we want, and that can grow and evolve and change as we do, which it should. That's what we're here for. But really, I feel like it's time to say, I am going to be the best human that I can be, the version of myself that I came into this life here to be, and I'm not going to play small anymore. And I think, on a side note, with the world of AI and all of the technology that's coming through into our world right now, it's going to be so important to do the thing that you do, and you do it best. Because these jobs that are seemingly mundane, I feel like, are just going to slowly be eaten up, because it's not what we were here for. Of course, we need the construction workers, and we need the people who are going to be our foundation, that help us create the actual building phase of the world, the maintaining and sustaining. But those mundane, selfless, or not selfless, soulless jobs, I feel like, are slowly going to be overtaken, and it's going to be increasingly important to be ourselves. And it's this concept that I've been hearing about from my teachers for a long time, but you're like, what do I even do? Like, how do I just be myself? And, for example, I'm going to use this podcast as my personal example right now. It's like, it's the thing that's fueling me the most. And it comes down to that feeling when I'm in it, that I am a channel for whatever wants to flow out of me. And, even sitting in these interviews with people that I know and love and really am passionate about what they have to offer, I see myself in the midst of it as like a journalist, as somebody who gets to invite and allow creativity and just like the most beautiful expression of the human to be seen and spread. And I know it's going to look like so much more later, but finding that thing that you are good at, and that you recognize are good at, the thing that actually drives you forward, and you're like, well, I want to do more of that, and it makes you truly proud to do it. I think giving ourselves the space to recognize, I actually think this could be something. I mean, maybe it's just that little opening of possibility. Maybe it's just that small shift in awareness of like, what if I did that more? What if I took a little bit of time outside of my day or outside of my week to do that just a little bit more? Maybe that's it, and that's so great. Like, not everybody has to go and start a YouTube page and have a full following online of thousands of followers or whatever. Like, that's not everybody's path, and I'm sure I'm not alone. We see like so many examples of everybody else doing their thing online. It gets to be a little bit overwhelming, and it feels a little bit competitive, and like everyone's trying to steal your attention and try to sell you something. And I don't exactly know how all of that is going to shift and change. I just feel like it is. I think there is going to be a way in which we can reach the people that we're meant to reach just by doing the thing that we love, the thing that we're here meant to do, without having to feel like there's this constant bombardment of everybody else trying to do that thing. And it's like this catch-22. But going into that courage piece, when you hear that voice come up against you, telling you all the reasons in which you shouldn't do something, notice it and be like, yeah, but is this helping me? Like, is this the way that I want to keep living my life? Is is this just a thought? Maybe starting to identify where that thought has come from. Maybe starting to realize, do I need to listen to that thought? And it's just separating yourself from what feels true to you and what feels alive, and also what doesn't. When you're like, no, that makes me contract, that makes me like kind of cringe, that makes me like, I think a healthy amount of fear is good to be able to feel. And I think that's where I'm playing this dance. It's like I'm really uprooting all the fear that's been holding me back for so long. And now I'm working with it as a way of like, ooh, okay, this is kind of making me a little bit like a little charged up, a little bit like, even feeling that anger come up, that frustration. It's like, I'm going to use this and I'm going to send it out into all the things that I want to do, because that's how you make a change. And so these emotions don't have to run your life in a way that it all has to be so bad. They're just signals to you to recognize where it's time to evolve and grow. And if we can do that just a little bit more throughout the day, instead of being on autopilot mode, I think that our lives can shift rapidly. And so this whole piece of emerging, I feel like I have been asleep for so long, and now it's just becoming increasingly difficult to have my life run by somebody else on somebody else's time and on somebody else's schedule, on somebody else's vision. And it's like, no, it's time to open my voice. It's time to become me. It's time to really recognize my skills and how I can use them. And it's time to bring them to the community and the collective and the people that are needing me to be me. It's not like this selfish ego perspective. It's like, no, I'm actually doing the world a disservice by not embodying my true self, by not honoring, call it God's plan if you like. But it's not time to play small anymore. And in this time of rapid shifts, it's going to be really, really important to know yourself deeply, to know where you stand, and to know where you're going. I think, and even if it, like I said, even if it's a wide perspective, if it's like I kind of have an idea, this is the direction that I want to go, and you're putting steps towards that, great. Don't have to know exactly how it's going to look. If you're one of those people who can see every aspect of it and just create it, like, that's amazing. But letting yourself emerge from the slumber, from this period of shedding. I know we are just almost coming out of the year of the snake in Chinese wisdom. And, I definitely know in my own life, it was a big shedding. Coming to the end of my Saturn return, I don't know how all of that's lining up in the same time, but it is. And so there's just been some course redirections where it's like, nope, that's not working. That's not working. That's not working. And at the same time, it's like, okay, you are going to be supported in the things that are working. And it's going to be a slow, painful process. But keep going, keep going, keep going. And yeah, I'm so here for it. I just, I have so much gratitude and inspiration that's just bubbling up, and really stepping into my power as, a coach and a healer and a teacher. And I'm now way less afraid to say that out loud, because it's the path that I have chosen, or that has chosen me. Either way, however you look at it. It's like the whole free will conversation that I still get so confused on. I'm like, yeah, but like there's a very strong destiny and we have our own free will, and I'm just surrendering to this path, and I'm going to be like an instrument for the divine. I'm not really sure how all this is playing out, but the more that we fight it, the more that it just creates more turmoil. So I don't know. I'm still figuring out that whole concept, but yeah, the courage to emerge. How are you emerging in your life? How are you stepping into more of yourself? How are you showing up for your relationships, for your job, for yourself? How is your connection to your body? What part of your life is emerging right now? Or wanting to emerge? Maybe it's not yet. Maybe it's just you're on the precipice of something great, and there's a big change that's wanting to happen. And maybe you feel it, but it's not quite come into play yet. Just noticing these things and being willing to make that radical shift into the next version of who you are. And this is why this piece of the body for me is really, really huge, because in working with the nervous system, this is where I feel like all of the work lies, is being aware of your life, what is being presented to you, the lessons and the synchronicities, all the things that are coming to you, all those little things, and all the people and the avatars in your field of awareness that are here to show you what you need to do. It's like, okay, we need that. We need that meditative awareness. We need that ability to be able to kind of step back for a second and see everything from a wider view. And we need to be willing to have the action to charge forward. And we need the body to feel safe enough to do so. And so when we allow the body to say, okay, we're doing this anyways. Well, actually, it's like when we do this anyways, we have to allow the body to adjust. Sometimes it can feel a little bit jolting if we're just like charging forward, and the body's like, wait, like we've never done this before. I don't know what's happening. I'm super anxious, and I'm just like feeling all kinds of things, and you're not even going to let me catch up. I feel like in my life, and the conjunction that's happening right now between these two aspects, the outer world and the internal world, my nervous system might be saying something a little different, but the more that I can work with it and release the fascia and allow myself to adapt to the new direction and the new path that I'm taking, everything flows a little bit easier. When I'm fully hydrated, I'm remineralized, and I'm safe, calm, and collected, then I can adapt to those new areas. And it's like this gradual shift in direction instead of this big giant experience of like, whoa, that's a lot. The body wants to be able to move and grow with you. And when you're trying to go against it, it's probably going to win every time unless you have the tools to do so. So in this work with the fascia, in this work with embodiment, it goes hand in hand. I'm just not a believer anymore that anything that's manifested in the body is anything but emotional or energetic work that needs to be dealt with. It's all related. It's a giant mirror for what you need to work with. Sorry, my cat is moving the mic right now. And if we can start to understand that, if we can start to feel into all those cracks and crevices and then use these tools that we have to release it, let it go, and move forward, then our body starts to unwind and adapt and reprogram itself all at the same time. And so it's deep work, and it's so necessary, and this is the time to do it. It's like, do we want to wait another 5, 10, or 15 years to try to let our body catch up and just to like fight it all the time? Or do we want to actually let our systems go with us? You're going to have a much easier time. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And again, I know I'm stressing this a lot, but I've seen some really big shifts happen when doing this work and bringing it full circle. Especially in my own life, I've been able to go so much quicker than before, and it all came down to the work that I was doing within my body, within my nervous system. These patterns have gone deep since we were children. And it takes a second to unwind them. It takes a second to say, okay, yep, I've been doing that for a long time, and I see you, and thank you for protecting me and for operating that way. And also, I'm making a hard left turn right now, and you're coming with me. And it's going to be fun and exciting. And I talk about talking to the body, using our voice, using our words to actually reprogram it. And it's just like this new technology that I've discovered that people have probably known for thousands of years, but it's like we're bringing it back. I'm experiencing it in real time. So now that I have rambled on and on about emerging, I just again invite you to notice all the little areas in your life where you or something is emerging within you. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's in your love life. Maybe it's in your home or within your spiritual practice, your connection. It could be anything. It could be in your digestive system. Who knows? Something is emerging. Are you going to let it emerge? So I'll stop talking there for the most part. And I appreciate you being with me on this journey and letting me use this as a way for my own light to emerge. It's really been fun to see what happens, what wants to come out of me. And I am just so looking forward to where it's going to go. There's already been so many moments of magic, and I really see this being a way in which we can create community. So if you liked this little chat that we've had, please go and leave a comment, rate the podcast. If you can afford it, I'm always open to donations to be able to keep this going. This is really the direction that I see my life moving. And of course, I always offer one-on-one sessions within the Fascial Maneuvers. I always offer Reiki sessions. I always offer, I'm going to be doing more online classes, and I'm doing in-person classes currently. So I have these ways in which I am going and growing, but the podcast is my love, and I really see it turning into something much bigger. So if you'd like to support me on that journey, I will leave a link for the tip jar, and it really, really helps. And again, if you liked it, share it with a friend, bring some more awareness. Let's kick this year off right. And if I can support you in any way, in your body, in your mind, in your emotions, or in your life at all, please, please, please reach out. And I will talk to you next time. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon.